Good morning. Good morning. I didn't even check my hair. Welcome to the podcast, The Millionaire at the Diamonds. It's going to be so exciting because today's episode is not quitting, not giving up, but releasing what no longer fits in our life, and that we are meant to live otherwise. I absolutely loved it. We actually got tomorrow's ready, and we're closing off the book tomorrow. Melanie, Marie Pierre, that's it. And obviously, we're going to redo this book. Okay. I think, even if I already read it, not all of it, even if I did it through a podcast with you guys, Sherry Novak is here, Jacqueline is here. Melanie, you have to see this new cruise line Jacqueline sent me. You're going to freak out. I have to send you that. By the way, we have a wonderful community. We sell ourselves all kinds of things between ourselves. What I want to tell you about this, as I was going through it yesterday, I've been there. And today I am where first thing first is. Not 100%, but nobody will ever be 100%. My gosh, what a game changer. So please, please, please share with everybody you know that is busy, 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 but not advancing anywhere. And I fell on a reel yesterday on Shark's Tank, the beautiful girl with the blonde hair. And she says, and I know I said it yesterday, I'm going to repeat it. She says, you have to be growing personally. Otherwise, you're always going to work very, very, very hard and never, never, ever increase your income. And I went, oh my gosh. And look at you, Melanie, this year. The growth you've, as a human being, automatically everything else is growing. So I'm happy to see Caroline. Caroline is with Kendra and Monique. Thank you, Monique. I don't see James yet. I don't see James. I see Louise. Thank you for joining us and keep tagging your people. I'll leave you in the hands of Marie-Pierre.
Okay, so it's time to go and share the podcast this morning. So you have the text in the comment that you can copy paste it, so when you share, people understand why they should listen to the podcast this morning. And you will see that when you click on the arrow to share on social media, you can also share it by messenger or text message. So when you have someone in mind during the podcast, that's the best way to make sure that they will click on the link. Send it by messenger, send it by text message. They will click and listen to the podcast this morning. Then we have our contest, les millionnaires des diamants. Our contest, les millionnaires des diamants. So first, when you go on our Facebook group called Les Millionnaires des Diamants Inspirational Group, every time you post, every time you put a comment, a reaction, you gain point during the month to be in the top 10 contributor. And our top 10 month to date, we have number 10, Nathalie Brochu, number 9, Monique Stratter, number 8, Melanie, number 7, Des Images des Mots, number 6, Sherry Novak, number 5, Rachel Dugas, number 4, Kenra Fingasol, number 3, Lise Boucher, number 2, Louise Gauthier, and number 1, Martinez. So congratulations to our top 10 month to date. So you still have until the end of the month to be in the official top 10 that get a voucher to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires des Diamants.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah,
Martin Noel is not there. I don't see him. Please tag him. God knows where he is. But you know what I want to underline? We never had people from the English community posting. And now the biggest part of the posts on the group is the English community. You understand? Okay. Just had to say that. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, and then we have a draw at the end of each month. To be in the draw, there's two ways. First, with the boutique Millionnaires des Diamants. So when you place your order, you take a picture. You receive your order, you take a picture, and you post on social media and you tag Maria Marino and Les Millionnaires des Diamants to be in the draw. Then, second way to be in the draw is with the book Millionnaires des Diamants. You just receive one of the books, you take a picture, you're reading one of the books, you take a picture, you're doing one of the quiz books, you take a picture, you're doing one of the workbook, you take a picture, you're using your agenda, you take a picture. You can take a new picture every day and post on social media and tag Marie Marino and Les Millionnaires des Diamants to be in the draw. And then we have the conference that is coming up on January 24th. So if you are not registered yet, you still have time to do it. But if you want to be in person, with us at the studio in Anjou, the places are limited. So you need to tell me right away, I want to be in person so we can be part of that group that will be in person at the studio in Anjou. But it's a virtual conference first, so that means it's for everyone all around the world. So no matter where you are, you can register for the conference to be with us on January 24th. And January 24th will be also the day that we'll launch our volume 4 of the quiz book. Because yes, during the podcast we do quizzes, but it's usually 5 questions. But all the quizzes are based for 20 questions and minimum 10 points to develop this uh, the subject about the quiz. So it's really something that will help you develop. And I love that yesterday we had Melissa that talked to Maria, and she said, people don't like to read, but people love to play. And quizzes, it's like playing. So it's a way that you don't see it, that you are reading, that you are developing yourself. So it's a great way to uh, gift someone personal development without realizing it. So if you don't already have the quiz book, you can go ahead and get your quiz book too. But we're gonna have the volume 4 on January 24th. That's gonna be launched at the same time of the conference. So voila.
I love it. Thank you so much. And Martin just told us I am on the road. We're watching you. We're watching you. So welcome once again to today's episode, and it's going to be very different, very quiet, very deep. We are at the end of the book, so between today and tomorrow, it's going to be very powerful. So I'm going to begin with a sentence directly out of the book that says, "We must become the change we seek in the world." I believe it's Gandhi that said that. I know Melanie Beauchamp uses it all the time. And that's exactly what she did with her family, with her 11 siblings, her mom and dad. It's absolutely amazing how that family turned around when she made the decision to become the change she wanted to see in her family. That sentence is not poetic. It's extremely demanding. It's not easy. When you say become the change, it's not obvious because it means we can't wait for the world to change. We can't wait for people to approve us. We can't wait for permission either. I come from a world where I was raised with you do what you need to do, Maria, and ask for forgiveness instead of permission because human beings are within their own paradigms and they'll say no just because, but follow your heart. I will say follow your heart and trust your work ethic, trust your loyalty, and trust your integrity. So today the work is about letting go. Most people think success is about adding more effort, more discipline, more goals, more pressure. But first things first teaches us something very different. Or for my side, it's not first things first. Life will teach you something very different. So don't take 40 years, accelerate. I call it the accelerator, the podcast, the Millionaire of the Diamonds. You don't move forward by adding, you move forward by releasing. Now, it's very important you understand. It doesn't say don't do it. It's called releasing. This little word, releasing, is so important because no one can become who they are meant to be while dragging old weight behind them. So, just a quick visual. For me, metaphors are very important, visuals are very important. So, let me go with a picture, very easy. Imagine opening your phone in the morning before you even get out of bed. Okay, guys, don't do that. Okay, but my husband does. So even before getting out of bed, notification, messages, emails, group chats, reminders, expectation. This is all like you're beginning the day with everything that was dumped on you yesterday, right? Your mind is already running. Now imagine doing that, not just with your phone, but with your whole life. Old obligation, old roles, old expectation, old version of who you think you should be. Been there, done that. It's coming, okay? Nothing is wrong with any one thing, but together it's overwhelming. These are the people that are always, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. I call them walking fast, going nowhere. It's reality. They're not faking it. It's true. You can't live first things first if your life is running in the background with 47 applications open. We get that sometimes, eh? While we're doing PowerPoint, somebody says, I got so many things open. Something's gotta give. Something's gotta give. So for my personal story for me is a long, long time ago in my life, I carried a lot of guilt. A lot of, my old guilt was very quiet, but it was feeling guilty. And you're saying, what was that guilt about? I didn't want to go out Thursday nights, Friday nights with the friends, but somewhere in my mind, whether I liked it or not, it was saying to me, you're not normal, because everybody started telling me, you're not normal, you're never going to find somebody. Sometimes I would say yes to going out, but it didn't fit me. So, I was still in that mode when I was younger of, let me shut them up by doing it. But I didn't feel good because that's not me, right? And then I always felt guilty for wanting something different. I was very ambitious. Even today, I look at the majority of the people around me and I don't feel guilt anymore. We're just on a whole other level, right? And everybody's good on their level, but I have to love myself for being in my level and not making myself smaller to fit in, other people's way of living. So, and to me, it looked like this: guilt that comes from conscience teaches us, and guilt that comes from society drains us. And this is the difference between the two. So, guilt that comes from conscience teaches us. My dad said to me one day, when you're in the club, Maria, remove yourself from your body, put yourself up there. I mean, he didn't read the book, but he understood this, right? And he goes, look down and ask yourself, does this make sense, what you're seeing? And I remember I was at Thursdays, if anybody remembers that. What a meat market. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. And the irony is I met Mohammed at Thursday, but that's another story in itself. And guilt comes from society, and that drains us when I'm not living to your standards, your expectation. And I also carried old roles such as, my mother, I need to hear I'm a good girl. And my father, I needed to hear you're my princess, you're my things like that. And to be a good leader, it's as if I needed the acknowledgement of the Tupperware president. And without realizing, I tied my worth to approval. And that should never happen. I've been there. I've been there. Today, I don't care. Dun-dun. Okay, anyways. So I want to leave you with this. When rationalization is going to hit you, and it did to me, I told myself, if I do more, if people see how hard I work, they will always demand more. You need to make the decision. What is it exactly? Your why of why you're doing what you're doing. Don't forget, book number 1 will make you dive deep into your personal why. So, my core message today is very easy. When you let go of false paradigms, old identities, social guilt, external security, everything begins to flow without effort in the direction of your choice. Now, to better understand academically and be able to take down notes, I'm going to leave you in the hands of Melanie Miller.
Okay, thank you very much, Maria. And as you were telling the story about feeling guilty, it reminded me of when I was at university and I was living away from home. And in the first year, I lived in a hall of residence. And at the end of that year, everybody was moving out to like houses or apartments. And they were all looking for people to move out with them. And I got approached by several groups of people for me to move out with them and how it would make a difference and they'd be able to get this house or that apartment or what have you. Anyway, I didn't want to move out. I liked living where I was. I liked the independence. I didn't want to end up in a house doing other people's washing up and cleaning up. And so I declined, but I stayed in a hall of residence and it was the best thing I did for me. But I felt guilty a lot of the time that maybe I'm not guilty, but also like society says, oh, it's so much fun when you move out and live with other people. And it was a lot of sort of background noise to my life at the time. But fortunately, I was strong enough to move on and do what I wanted to do and felt really good about that. So we have those moments in our lives. And what Covey says is putting first things first is not only about what we add to our lives, it's also about what we are willing to release. Covey calls this letting go, not as a loss, but as a way of unburdening the soul so that peace becomes possible. He identifies 5 things that we need to let go of, and I'm going to walk through some of those with you this morning. So, number 1, let go of paradigms that are popular and pleasing, but based on illusion. So, what this means is he reminds us that some beliefs are widely accepted, admired, rewarded, yet not grounded in conscience or principle. These are ideas like, if I reach this goal, I will be finally happy. If I look successful, life will feel secure. If others approve, then I must be on the right path. They're popular, they're pleasing, but they're often illusions. You can reach the goal and still feel restless. Letting go here means asking, is this truly aligned with my values? Or am I chasing something because it looks good to others or I want to please others? Sometimes what we need to let go of is success that was never really ours. Let go of things that aren't first things. Covey illustrates this beautifully with the circle of concern and circle of influence. When he shared this idea with a group of executives, um, one group was very excited and said, "Oh, I love this circle of influence. It helps us focus on what matters." And the other group said, "Oh, we love the circle of concern because this helps us to know what to let go of." Both are right, but the key insight is this: you cannot fully focus on your first things if your hands are still full of non-first things. Worrying about what we can't control, replaying old conversations, overcommitting out of habit, these drain energy without producing peace. Letting go doesn't mean disengaging from life. It means releasing what doesn't belong at the center. Number 3, let go of rationalizing. And Covey spells this quite cleverly with the word lies in the middle. Not sure how it's going to come out in the French translation. But Covey intentionally breaks this word apart. Rational lies ing, because it describes how we use logic to defend ourselves against our own conscience. This shows up in the moment we say, "I had no choice." Anyone would have done the same. "They deserved it. I was tired. I was too busy." The moment we start defending what we said or did, we're holding on, not letting go. Conscience is quiet and steady. Rationalization is loud and busy. Letting go here means stopping the inner argument and simply saying, that wasn't aligned with who I want to be. No drama, no self-attack, just truth and peace. Let go of unnecessary guilt. Covey makes an important distinction here. Guilt has a purpose. It alerts us when something needs to be corrected. But once correction has happened, guilt must be released. I had a small example of this recently, yesterday. I forgot to open a Zoom session, which I had committed to do, and someone wrote to me, but by the time I saw it, it was too late. I apologized sincerely, and that was the end of it. I couldn't do anything about it. I just had to accept that I'd made a mistake and apologize for it. Holding on to the guilt would not have helped anyone. It would only have robbed me of peace. Covey would say, conscience corrects, guilt that lingers only weighs us down. Letting go allows us to learn without punishing ourselves and making sure that we put into place something that makes sure we don't forget another time or get distracted by other things. Number 5, let go of extrinsic sources of security. This is the final and perhaps the deepest letting go. Extrinsic sources of security are things outside of what we lean on to feel. They're worthwhile, safe, and valued. These include recognition, titles, busyness, being needed, approval, roles, or status. None of these are bad, but they're unstable foundations. When our security comes from outside ourselves, we become reactive. We struggle to say no. We fear disappointing others. We lose the freedom to put first things first. True security comes from integrity, conscience, and inner alignment. Covey's message is simple. If my worth depends on what others think, peace will always be fragile. When Covey talks about letting go, he's not asking us to care less. He is asking us to carry less. As we release illusions, distractions, justifications, unnecessary guilt, and borrowed some security, something opens up. Space, clarity, peace. And from that place, living first things first becomes not a struggle, but a natural expression of who we are. And now I'm going to leave you in the hands of Marie Pierre, who's going to, I'm sure, quiz us on where we are. To you, Marie Pierre.
Thank you, Melanie. Yes, absolutely. It's time to do the quiz this morning. So we're gonna have some fun with that because the quiz will help you to see which one of those 5 different things that we often need to let go of most often happen to you or appear for you in your life. So you will see with the different question, it's important to answer honestly because the goal is not to look good, but the goal is to see clearly what we need to do next. So let's start the quiz with question number 1. Today we have a lot of choices. Okay, are you ready? You have the choice between A, B, C, D, E, F. We have a lot of choices because yes, there's already 5 the thing that we need to let go of. But sometimes we have some question that you just don't see yourself in that question or it just doesn't apply to you, so you have the F. It doesn't apply to me in this one, so it's okay to use the F if it's not for you for that question. So let's start with question number 1. So when you say yes quickly and you regret it later, why did you say yes? So A, I believe saying no would make me selfish. B, I convinced myself it wouldn't take much time. C, I feel guilty disappointing someone. D, I was afraid of losing approval or opportunity. E, I skipped checking if it aligned with my priorities. Or F, it doesn't apply to me. Question number 2. When you keep doing something mainly because this is who I've always been, what are you holding on to? So A, you are attached to an identity that feels safe. B, you are rationalizing staying the same to avoid discomfort. C, you are afraid that others won't recognize you if you change. D, you are afraid of instability of or uncertainty. E, you have not redefined yet what matters at this stage of your life. Or F, you feel that it doesn't apply to you, those choice of answer. Question number 3. When you feel torn between what you want and what others expect, what usually wins? A, you believe others' needs come before yours. B, you explain away your own desire. C, you choose peace over honesty. D, you fear conflict or rejection. E, you have not clarified what comes first in your life. Or F, you don't feel that one of these apply to you. Question number 4. When you hold on all on when you hold on to a role that drains you but once made sense, why do you stay? So A, I believe I must finish everything I start. B, I justify staying because it once worked. C, I fear disappointing those who count on me. D, I fear losing importance or relevance. E, I've not asked if it's still essential today for me. Or F, you don't feel that one of these apply to you. And last question, number 5. When your body or your mind signal to stop and you keep pushing, what belief is active for you? A, I believe rest equals weakness. B, I tell myself that I rest later. C, I feel guilty slowing down. D, I feel losing momentum or control. E, I ignore long-term priorities. Or F, you feel that none of these apply to you. So, did you get mostly A's, B, C, D's, E? All the alphabet. So if you have it mostly A, it's to let go of false paradigms. So you are living by rules that once help you survive, but now limit your growth. So your next step will be to question one assumption that you've never challenged in your life. If you have it mostly B, now it's to let go of rationalizing. So you are intelligent and reflective, and your mind is protecting you from discomfort. So the next step would be to replace explanation with one honest sentence that will help you. Now, if you have mostly C, it's time to let go of social guilt. So you confuse being good with being approved of. So the next step would be to choose conscience once, even if it feels awkward. Now, if you have mostly D's, you have to let go of extrinsic security. So your identity is tied to outcome, roles, or recognition that will create anxiety because external things are unstable. So the next step would be to anchor your worth internally before acting externally. And if you have it mostly ease, now it's time to let go of what is not the first thing first. So you are doing good things, but not the right thing first. So your life feel crowded, but and not wrong. So the next step would be to protect one essential by removing one non-essential in your life. So the challenge today would be to remove one commitment that drains your energy from what matters most because letting go is not about doing less, but it's about making space for what truly deserves you. So look at your calendar and ask yourself what takes energy but gives no life back that will really help you to put first thing first. That is the goal, of course, of the book. And since we are in the books tomorrow, we need to focus on first thing first. So we wish you a beautiful day and we'll continue on that tomorrow morning. Bye everyone.